truly, truly incredible. Talk about wacky races. The only thing missing today, Penelope Pitstop and Dick Dastardly. That was just stunning. 2 different channels, 2 different starts, one very worthy winner. And there he is. Jenson Button holds the trophy aloft. Eddie Jordan, the greatest win of his career?
Oh, beyond doubt, this was just... You couldn't script this. It was truly amazing, as you rightly say. In fact, I was thinking, am I really watching what I'm watching? Because this is just the best racing you can ever imagine. Now, I want to ask this man, how nervous is he about the investigation at this stage? First, congratulations.
I think at the moment we're just celebrating a fantastic race and a fantastic drive by Jenson. I think it was, what a race. I mean, coming through six times to come from 21st to win a race like that, incredible. I mean, he was just driving so well at the end, and he deserves this win. I think everyone knows that, so we'll see.
Trust Eddie Jordan to try and burst the bubble so soon, hey? We'll have a look at that incident just a moment, but just give us an idea of where that pace came from for Jenson at the end.
No, well, I think he is a fantastic driver. I think the car was good in those conditions, but no, you've got to give it to Jenson. I mean, he had the confidence, he went for it, he just attacked, and what a fantastic driver. What a fantastic result for him and the team.
Fantastic day for us. I mean, we were served up with a race from heaven, weren't we? We thought, hang on, this race cannot possibly happen, and then you go and do what you did.
I know. Well, we did quite a lot of things to contribute to the show today, but I think, at the end of the day, Jenson, I mean, that was just fantastic. I mean, very, very easy. We knew he had to put pressure on Sebastian, and, he made a mistake. I mean, you can forgive him for that. He's driven so well this year, but Jenson, I think, just, that was just incredible. That's the stuff of champions. That's the stuff of dreams. It's great. Absolutely fantastic.
OK, well, let's have a look then. Let's live with Jenson for the story of his Grand Prix, and what a Grand Prix it was. How worried were you early on when these kinds of things were going on? Because obviously you don't really want driver and driver coming together.
Driver and driver is very bad news. But I mean, at that point, that's one of the lows. That was the low of the race. And fortunately, the 2 guys, they've spoken. They had plenty of opportunity during the race to talk to each other. That was, Jenson didn't know Lewis was there. Lewis understands that. That's not created an issue between the drivers. But obviously, you don't want your drivers having a go at taking each other out like that. So.
As you rightly say, and we talked to you earlier on, I mean, first of all, were you of the view that, let's go back to the very start, you made the point about the safety car. You're still sure about your answer?
Well, which answer was that?
You thought it should not have started with the safety?
No, I think I didn't, because where we were, I mean, I'm partisan here. I wanted a fantastic, exciting start to the race, and we could have done that but without a safety car. But nonetheless, I think it was damn difficult for the drivers all afternoon.
Yes, because when the safety car came in, we did get exciting racing. Now, this is the investigation that the stewards will be taking a look at. Are you at all worried, having seen a few replays as the viewers at home are seeing?
But, I think Jenson was on the inside there. I think Alonso shut on him. But I'm likely to be a little bit partisan. I think the stewards are going to make a call, but I'd hope and believe that we're going to be okay on that one. But we'll see.
Now, at this point, when Jenson's coming up to 3rd place, taking Mark Webber, did you at this point think, hold on, we could pick up a race win out of this?
No, well, he was so quick in catching them that we thought we could win that race, and I think we told him that. And but you never imagine that he really can push through like that. I think it was clear that Schumacher was struggling for whatever reason. They were outbraking him from a million miles back, but. I think then to catch Sebastian was going to be a real challenge, but all you can do in those situations is just put massive pressure on and hope something comes off, which is exactly what he did.
Well, this is precisely the time when Jenson's engineer tells him he can win this race.
No, exactly. No, we were giving him the encouragement. You can say, look, you're 2 seconds quicker than Vettel. You've got to just push, and I think we give them the right encouragement. We give them the information, but the drive has to do the job. And he really did a fantastic job. What a great spectacle that must have been.
Let's have a look at the final one. The last time we spoke to you after a win, it was when Lewis had won in China, when you were shaking with nerves and excitement. How does this one compare?
No, this is just fantastic, because how event-filled, and I'm so pleased for Jenson, because that was just a mighty drive. Sebastian's been driving so well, but he just forced into an error. He knew that he was going to have trouble. We were in the DRS zone, he'd caught him, and he was on the ragged edge. You could see before that incident, there were 3 or 4 occasions where you thought, right, he's on the ragged edge. I think we could see it. I'm sure Jensen could see it. So that was just fantastic for everyone.
And how nice to see Lewis joining in with the celebrations, considering the race that he had.
No, I mean, Lewis will be disappointed, but he's a team player. He loves his team, and he has a fantastic relationship with Jensen. He knows that Jensen will really enjoy this win, and so will we.
OK, Martin, I think there is a party to be had in Montreal, and no doubt you've got an invite. So congratulations, Thanks. Well done.
Pleasure.
It was an epic race. Thanks for the entertainment. Well done, Martin. And the crowd alongside us enjoyed that as well, didn't they? Right, let's hear then from the man of the moment, the man who won this Grand Prix, who overtook the world champion at the very end there, Jensen Button. He's in the driver's press conference.
So here we have the top 3 finishers in the Canadian Grand Prix. The winner, Jensen Button, Vodafone McLaren Mercedes, 10th career victory and his first this season. Second, Sebastian Vettel, Red Bull Racing. And third, Mark Webber, Red Bull Racing. Jensen, amazing race, well worth waiting for the finish. You went from last to first, you collided with your teammate and Fernando Alonso, but what a race victory.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what to say. You know, it's been a very emotional 3 hours, or however long it's been since the start. Obviously, the incident with Lewis, I couldn't see anything when he was alongside me. I couldn't see anything in my mirrors, so it was one of those things, and I've apologised to him. And then on, it was really a fight. You know, I got to drive through for speeding behind the safety car, and then I had to fight my way through about 3 times. Eventually, on the last lap, I was chasing down Seb. He ran a little bit wide onto the wet part of the circuit, and I was able to take the opportunity and take the win. But for me, yeah, a fantastic race, and I think even if I hadn't won today, I would have enjoyed this race immensely. But yeah, amazing win, and possibly my best.
Well done. Sebastian, another very high pressure finish for you, but this time it didn't go your way. How disappointed are you feeling right now?
Well, of course you're disappointed. I think it was a very difficult race from start to finish, and we led every single lap except the last one, so or part of the last one. Yeah, you know, I think I was probably too conservative when I was in the lead after the last safety car, and didn't open the gap enough, so I was trying to hold the gap to the cars behind. Yeah, and then I saw Jensen coming through. I was pushing, and I think, you know, it would have been enough to the end, but obviously it was not, because I did a mistake. So it's clearly down to me. I locked up the rear a little bit. What you have to do then is open the car going a bit straighter, and when there's only one line, I ended up in the wet, and yeah, it was quite easy then for him to pass. But surely I think it's a good day today. It was a difficult race, easy to do mistakes. We've seen a lot of cars not finishing, so it's good points. But you know, at the moment, surely if you you know, if you got it in your hands, then and then you give it away, it's not the sweetest feeling. But I think all in all, it was a good race for us here.
Well done. Mark, you were the first to go onto the slick tyres, and then an unbelievable battle at the end with Michael Schumacher and with Jensen.
Yeah, I had to roll the dice a little bit. It was very hard to clear some of those guys with the dry line, you know, when you were trying to come through, and there's such a narrow window to get down the inside of people. Obviously, you have experienced guys like Michael and Heidfeld, and those guys, they know what they're doing. So thought I'd roll the dice. I was happy to see not everyone taking the next lap after me, because I thought they would be. So the 2 laps was enough to bring me back into the game for the podium. And then it was a pretty good fight with Michael. Again, it was difficult we wanted both the same bit of track, obviously, for the main point, braking for the chicane. So in the end, got there, but when JB arrived, I mean, he was absolutely flying, and I was trying to we were all trying to be as fair as we could. Obviously, I passed Michael through the chicane, so I had to get the position back. And in the end, probably I think these are the results we all deserve today. I think JB drove a great race. Obviously, Seb was did a phenomenal job, but obviously it's easy to make a mistake in those conditions. And I think third's probably the maximum I could get today from after the first lap with Lewis hitting me.
Well, good to hear from those guys. And let's then confirm the result of this race, the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix. These are the top 10 finishers. Congratulations to Jensen Button, closely followed by Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber as well. Considering the kind of race he had a really strong finish. It looked like Michael Schumacher was going to get the first podium of his return, but he finishes in 4th place. And some strong points actually here for the likes of Vitaly Petrov, Felipe Massa. Kamui Kobayashi was sitting 2nd on the restart, wasn't he? Jaime Alguersuari, Rubens Barrichello and Sebastian Buemi will all be pleased to pick up some points as well. Of course, it doesn't really change the man at the front, but it does mean his nearest challenger now is Jenson Button, with Mark Webber now sitting third. Lewis Hamilton was the closest. He drops down to fourth place. And in the constructors' battle, well, it was another strong result for Red Bull, who now have 255 points ahead of McLaren with 186. Well, David Coulthard has joined us from the commentary box, and he arrived and he said, thank goodness for a race like that after all the waiting around. And I think the same applies to our very loyal BBC viewers. It's almost 10:30. We're now on BBC Two. These sort of late night F1 movie nights are good fun for them, I'm sure, but well done to them for sticking with us as well.
Absolutely. You know, we were all starting to despair when we were trying to find things to talk about when the rain just seemed to keep falling. But what incredible results. You know, I was imagining what it must be like to be in the cars when you're having to sort of drive at those speeds with no room for error. If you run wide, you're on the wet and it just takes you wide. And in the end, Sebastian Vettel, as Martin Brundle said in the commentary, showed that he is human. He succumbed to the pressure of Jenson Button, and I think that no one would disagree that that was a very well-deserved victory.
A standout moment for you, considering all that went on, what would it be? Would it just be Jenson's drive in those conditions?
The pace of Jenson. He was so much quicker than anyone else at that moment. You know, where did he find that pace from? Where did he get the confidence to really run that sort of wall of death right out to the edge of the damp conditions? We saw it in Melbourne a couple of years ago, and we've just seen it again here. That needs some full analysis, which we won't have time to do today.
Which is a shame, but we can very quickly hear from Michael Schumacher after a very strong result for him.
Oh, Michael, it was so close. You must have been able to smell the champagne towards the end of that race. How are you feeling?
Yeah, naturally, I'm not yet sure whether I should be excited or be unhappy about what was going on. I think in the end of the day, for the team, it's a great result. I mean, if I'm right, it's the best result we have had this year.
Oh, do you know what? I'm really pleased for the three guys on the podium, but that would have completed the fairy tale, Eddie, if Michael Schumacher had prevailed through that madness to pick up a podium.
But absolutely, we sat through that race and very brilliantly put together during the off period or off racing. But Michael Schumacher, I think most people just found a little bit of graciousness there just to say, wouldn't it be nice to see him on the podium? I know you felt that way, and I think I did too.
Yeah, let's just let you know that you can, of course, see the highlights of this race on BBC Three later on this evening. It's a nice late one, and I suppose in many ways you don't have to wait too long for that to be on. 1:10 in the morning. I'm sure as you've watched all this, you can stick around and watch a bit more Formula One. Who cares if you're a little bit late for work in the morning? Now then, bad weather here, equally bad weather in the United Kingdom. So the final of Queens will happen tomorrow, live 12:30 on BBC Two. But tickets are available on the gate. If you turn up and you've got £10 in your pocket, you can see Andy Murray. That's a nice cheap way to see some top tennis after some top racing today. And our next race is in 2 weeks' time in Valencia. However, we won't have a Formula One forum this week. No F1 forum, but there again, we have done the last 5.5 hours on the television. A few other points that we should mention. Did they deal with the safety cars in the right way today, David?
Well, a lot of cars were still on track, so you have to say that preempting incidents today was a smart move, because there's just no room for any error on this track. As we saw when other guys were getting up close and personal, they were ending up in the wall. So, you know, I think it's better to make that decision ahead of an accident rather than waiting for all sorts of carnage.
And we should quickly mention Sebastian Vettel. He'll be relieved that his nearest challengers, the likes of Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, had a day to forget today.
Well, they did, and in actual fact, you know, when they go home and analyse this, Red Bull had a very good day at the office yet again. If they're going to drop away from not winning a race with Vettel, then this is how to do it. Finish in second place. The man is human, and we were all so excited. It was a brilliant race. I might just say one thing. For me, Formula One was the winner today. This was a remarkable race, and we will talk about it for some time.
Indeed we will. Well, sadly, we've got no more time to talk about it, but David, congratulations to you and Martin for getting through that epic, and thank you very much for being with us as well. You know the person that I feel most sorry for today? The safety car driver. He led all those laps, and still he didn't win the race. Mind you, after a performance like that, who would begrudge Jenson Button picking up his first win of 2011? What an evening. Thanks for sticking with it.
Any touch, Webber is round.
What's he doing?
Look how hard it's raining, David.
It's undrivable. It's undrivable.
It is a red flag situation. And we are back in racing conditions. We want to see some action. Ferrari off. It's Fernando Alonso. It's all kicking off out there. He's got away. Button leads the Grand Prix. It's a sensational drive for Button.
Next time on Formula One, Round 8, Europe.